Hey everyone, welcome to this quick reading sessions with me, Somajit Goswami by Competition Crusade. In today's session, we are going to read one of Aeon essays. Okay, so Aeon is this website that I really love, and nothing special about this website. It's just that they post really interesting articles to read. Okay, so I hope we enjoy this article. This is a random article that I chose today. Okay, and yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. Okay, that really helps us in enough and more ways. So the article that I'm reading today for you all is living closer together. Okay, urban density was once seen as a sign of unhealthiness and poverty, but today it is necessary to make cities sustainable. It's true actually. Okay, what they're saying, if you look into the cities of London or any of the European cities, you will see they don't like to do a lot of clutter with their city. So they want things to be a little bit more scenic. In India, however, the case is different because of a population. Also, we are in fact the world's second largest population. So I hope some of you guys can relate to what they are saying. Okay, let me start off with this article then. Okay, I think this is fairly readable. I'm using one of the extensions to make the background invisible, so just in case if you are a little bit annoyed with my video, so let me just make it a little smaller just so that it does not bother you while reading. So I'm just going to read it out for you. I hope you guys can do the comprehension on your own. If there is something that I require to explain, I'll probably do that also. So it says, in cities, the frenetic energy of crowds is feared and fetished. Fear takes hold when we hear the great din of stampeding masses running from a shooting, a fire, or a collapsing building. Okay, municipal government and police departments feel it too when they are required to manage a crowd during demonstration, concert, sport event, even public holidays. During these moments, that fear can lead to violence as police attempt to regain control using tear gas, okay, truncheons, or other methods. So they are talking about the energy of the crowd in the first few lines of this paragraph. Okay, at the same time, so they started off by saying that there is a fear and there is a fetish. Fear we have already understood. Now let's see what there is about the fetish. At the same time, we fetishize bustling cities and their crowds. As cities have grown safer and more luxurious, people are attracted to the busiest part of the dense urban center. We might be drawn to the pleasant buzzing of lunchtime masses moving through the city like New York, or drawn to the romance of a Shenzhen's glittering blanket of electric lights that stretches out to the horizon. The proximity, even comfort of anonymous bodies moving together through a streetscape bring tourists to Tokyo's Shibuya crossing and Istanbul's Taksim Square. Okay, so what they are saying is that while everybody has a idea of this fear that how will we control the masses during public holidays and all, there is also something which is the fetish among the crowds, that they want to live among the dense areas. Okay, I hope that much is understandable. Okay, even in India you can see a similar thing happening, right? So we know that certain spaces like Bangalore is heavily crowded, but yet people every year migrate from their cities to Bangalore. Okay, yours truly is also thinking of relocating. Anyways, that's a different story for a different time. So but that's the crux of this passage. Now let's read the next paragraph. What does this paragraph? So first paragraph talks about the fear and fetish of a city crowd. Okay, let's understand the second paragraph. We'll read a couple of paragraphs, one or two or three paragraphs. Okay, and then I'll not take any more than 7-8 minutes, because you don't get to read the entire passage, right? So probably if you want to read it, you can read it. Okay, this is fairly available on Aeon website. So if this interests you, and precisely that is my reason also, that is my agenda also behind creating these videos, so that you as a individual audience get inspired by me reading these articles and go probably and read these articles on your own. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I have said a lot. Rubbing shoulder with strangers is considered both a pleasure and a pain in urban life. Density can be an endless source of social possibility, a chance to encounter in city streets. So rubbing shoulder with strangers is considered both a pleasure and a pain of urban life. I hope you guys have gone through this thing. Now, anybody who's traveled in the metro, let's say the Delhi metro, you will know that it sometimes any person, be it a male or a female, just for for the sake of let's say a hypothetical example, you're traveling to some place and somebody just holds to your hand, and it can be a guy, a girl, anybody, okay, but this person is just holding your hand just for this thing. They want just support, nothing else. Okay, so this is considered both a pleasure and a pain. Okay, so somebody may take a pleasure in this, like, okay, I'm helping somebody. Somebody can think, okay, is the other person thinking me that I'm a hanger or something? So yeah, so we'll start with this line. In Donna Tartt's novel The Goldfinch in 2013, the city of New York and Amsterdam are essential to creating an aura of density that propels the, I'll read it, let's see, Bildungsstraum forward. Okay, this is obviously, I think it's a German term. Density can also enforce a sense of psychological distance and enemy. In Wong Kar-wai's film The Chungking Express in 1994, I don't know what this person is and why is he making films with this sort of a name. Probably is a Chinese dude. Yeah, 1994, lovesick character drifts emotionally alone through the packed neon lit streets of Hong Kong through an equally feared and fetished in the late 20th and the early 21st century. Crowds and urban density increasingly became a necessary and even desirable part of life. However, that shift ended abruptly in 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic turned teeming cities into sites of extreme viral risk, leading some to ask, is the golden age of urban density is finally over? I hope most of you guys can relate to what has happened in the pandemic situation. So the next part is only talking about how things, the next paragraph rather, is talking about how things suddenly change in 2020 COVID-19 pandemic situations, right? I hope you guys have gone through a similar kind of a situation, although I was living in my home fairly comfortable in all aspects, but I know the pain that people have gone through during the COVID times to maybe living in one city, having to evacuate that city probably for some reason, going to another city. Okay, so that becomes really painful. I hope you guys have you guys can relate to that thing. So this is what they said. Suddenly in the second paragraph they're asking, this thing came into the picture that is the urban density the golden age of urban density finally over? Is it ended? I don't think so. This is my personal idea. Okay, this hasn't ended because people are still migrating back to their job places, maybe Bangalore, Delhi, wherever. Okay, but this is something that I am taking from this passage. Understand, we are reading this passage. This is not a reading comprehension. So you will enjoy these reading passages only if you read them and if you interrelate them with your current situations. Okay, I hope that makes sense, and I'm not making too many hand gestures. Okay, I don't know how this would end up looking. I just don't want to end up looking like a moron. Anyways, we'll look into the third paragraph. The pandemic fundamentally challenged our acceptance of crowds and urban density. So this pandemic has fundamentally challenged it. Okay, as the virus spread, residents with means left the city and retreated to the countryside. Okay, I hope you guys are familiar with this thing, right? There was a time when we used to love going to the countryside just to have this thing, but suddenly when urban rush came into your lives and you were like, these are boring cities, we should go into the city, boring villages, we should go to the city. So what this third paragraph essentially is saying, that this pandemic fundamentally challenged that perception. Okay, that crowds were accepting that thing. okay, going to the cities, abandoning the villages. They're not using the word village, countryside. Okay, those who remain developed, anxiety, okay, we'll start with this one. Those who remain developed anxieties about sharing lift, public transport, or the communal air vents in apartment building. This created a sense of density dread. Yet despite this rebalancing of the scales from the fetishization to the fear, the long-term damage to the dream of living in a large, crowded, even exciting city seems to have been temporary. Residential property prices are at an all-time high in many countries, including the inner city flats, despite the warming of coming migration into the suburbs in the waking of the coronavirus pandemic. So can you relate to this line? This is what is happening even after the coronavirus pandemic. The city flats, or even the inner city flats, the property prices are at all-time high. Actually, why are they saying this thing? This should be the other way around, right? Because people should be fleeing back to where they have come from. The price, even if they don't go, or they haven't come from anywhere, but the point that I'm trying to say is that the prices should come to a low, because coronavirus pandemic, right? You cannot just meet another person, right? But that's not the case. Everybody is still interested in these things. I hope that makes sense. So we start from this one. As housing prices soar, there have been new demands to increase affordability by building more apartments. The question of density has become more pressing, not just in the United States, where a home and yard are interpreted as quintessential aspects of the American dream, but across the world. So what exactly is the question that they're asking? The density ka question. Okay, that is not in the US, but a spacious, maybe a yard or something, which is very common in the US, the States. So this basically is talking about the third paragraph. The first one is talking about the fear and fetish. The second one is talking about how everything has come into a halt. The third one is talking about even after everything has come into a halt, the property prices are not going down. They're still at a sky high thing. So at this point, pause the video. Okay, pause the video and read this fourth paragraph. Okay, I will continue reading this in a next video because I do not want to increase the length of the videos. So 3 paragraphs we have read of this amazing, wonderful article. I hope I have been able to invoke some amount of reading ka passion, if that is a word. Okay, reading ka passion I have been able to invoke. So if you have evoked this thing, go ahead, read the passage. Okay, I'm not here to read the entire passage. It will take me 1.5 hours to read and make interpretations. Okay, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, and the most important thing, please rate our content. Tell me what is working, what is not working. Okay, if you like the background also or not. If you do not like the background, I'll probably put a green screen. But the fact is I'm doing everything that is in my hands. Okay, thank you.